Let me bring in Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs from Arizona to talk about this. A lot of people, Congressman, were surprised by this because, of course, he did vote in favor of conviction in the impeachment trial in the Senate. Many people thought that he had the digs in for President Trump, but he's going along, at least if it does come to a vote in the Senate before the election. Romney will vote, and of course, based on the qualifications of the candidate, will vote either aye or nay, but he will vote for the president's appointment.
Yeah, David, I think that is good news, and I think it's important news, and I think it was a measured response by Senator Romney, because when he is saying, look, we're not going to take into account Merrick Garland, what happened there, because whether that was fair or not fair, it followed historical precedent, and we're going to follow historical precedent in the Constitution in this case too, which means that President Trump gets to nominate. And I thought Senator Romney was right on when he said, look, it's up to the Judiciary Committee, and then it's up to the majority leader, and I will make my vote based on the qualifications of the candidate. I think that's appropriate, and it leaves me with some small hope of optimism there.
Now, on the other hand, you have Democrats, Nancy Pelosi suggesting that she might go for another impeachment if the president continues on the course he's going with regard to the Supreme Court. You have AOC and Chuck Schumer saying by any means necessary we're going to stop this. What does this do to the steam in their engine?
Well, I think it takes a little bit of the gas out of their car, for sure. But they have basically said that this is going to be a scorched earth retaliation project on their part. So they're going to do anything to stop this. And that means Nancy Pelosi's threatening impeachment. That means Schumer and AOC want to impeach not just the president, but William Barr. I've read where people have said they're going to go over and physically lay down and try to prevent senators from getting into the building. This is the kind of conduct that's just outrageous. And what would they impeach him on? For making a constitutional appointment, fulfilling his constitutional duty? That's the outrageous misconduct on the part of Democrat leadership in both the House and Senate right now.
But again, this will kind of take a little bit, I'm mixing metaphors, this will kind of take a little wind out of that sail.
Yes.
By the way, President Trump is delivering a taped address to the United Nations. Would you just hang in there for a second, Congressman? I want to dip into that.
You bet.
Go ahead.
Rejected the failed approaches of the past, and I am proudly putting America first, just as you should be putting your countries first. That's okay. That's what you should be doing. I am supremely confident that next year, when we gather in person, we will be in the midst of one of the greatest years in our history, and frankly, hopefully, in the history of the world. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless America. And God bless the United Nations.
Congressman, that of course was a virtual address to the United Nations about the role that the United States has played in international affairs. Of course, this president has changed dramatically the position of the United States. We were leading from behind during the Obama administration. Now we're leading up front. And a lot of members of the UN aren't happy about that. They were happy with the United States leading from behind. What do you think voters think about all this?
Well, I think voters will look at this and say President Trump has brought prestige back to us as a nation in the international community. And that's a good thing, because when the U.S. is strong, we project power, and that creates stability throughout the world. And I'm looking at the Mideast with the recent UAE and Bahrain peace agreement and normalization of relations with Israel. That's the type of thing that the U.S. does when it's leading, and I think that's really good. And I think many in the UN, their delegations won't see that, but back home across the world, people understand that when the U.S. is strong and leading, that there's more peaceful, more stability, and actually more economic growth in the world economy as well.
Congressman Andy Biggs, you bounced around very nicely with us in all this breaking news. We didn't plan for any of this, but thank you for staying with us in all of this breaking stuff. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, David.